Welcome back to Bonkers for Boro, and Kim Hellberg has a big decision to make with regards to Law McCabe. Now, the news broke just a few days ago that Middlesbrough had recalled Law McCabe from his loan spell with Plymouth Argyle. He'd spent the first half of the season on loan with the Pilgrims in League One, and the hope was that he was going to stay there for the full campaign, showing what he was capable of and getting some valuable first-team experience. But that hasn't quite worked out for Law McCabe so far. Now, McCabe started the season with Middlesbrough. In pre-season, he did very, very well. I remember him playing against Rangers at Ibrox and looking so good on the ball, technically really, really strong. It was only really due to competition for places that he was able to, he kind of fell down the pecking order, and there was a real need for him to go out and get some regular first-team football, and that was why he ultimately joined Plymouth at the end of the summer transfer window. Now, since he's moved to Plymouth, things haven't quite gone to plan as far as Middlesbrough and Law McCabe are concerned. He's gone there and he's made 13 appearances for the club. He started a reasonable number of games, started 7 times for the club in League One so far this term. But his last start for Plymouth came on the back at the back end of November, where he started and Plymouth lost 3-0. And since then, he's been struggling to break into the plans of manager Tom Cleverley. He's been struggling to get off the bench, and he's even been an unused sub on a number of occasions. Now, Plymouth are in a bit of a difficult position. They are struggling in League One. They're currently around 16th in the table. Of course, they only got relegated from the Championship last term, and so they are a club who are in a real state of trying to stop the rot at the moment. Of course, they don't want to suffer a second straight relegation and end up in League Two. And I think when you look on social media, the reaction from Plymouth supporters is that perhaps Law McCabe was the right player at the wrong time. They could really see his technical qualities. They could see exactly what he was going to bring to Plymouth had he been playing in the team. But in a side who just sort of needed to battle and scrap, he just wasn't kind of offering enough there. And so the feeling on social media was almost that Law McCabe was too good for Plymouth at this moment in time. He wasn't quite the profile of player that they'd be looking for. Now, as far as Middlesbrough are concerned, he's now come back to the Riverside Stadium, and he's going to be staying with Middlesbrough until the end of the season. Now, because he has played for Middlesbrough and for Plymouth so far this season, he's unable to be registered for a third club during this calendar year. So that means that he is back with Middlesbrough. He will be staying with the club until the end of the season, and that means that Kim Hellberg has the opportunity to reintegrate him with the first team. So he's already played 7 first team games for Middlesbrough. As I said, he really impressed during pre-season against Rangers and against a number of other clubs. But of course, there's going to be huge competition for places for Law McCabe in central midfield. You've got Hayden Hackney, you've got Aidan Morris, you've got Kante, you've got Alan Brown, you've got Alex Gilbert, who's come back into contention recently as well. So he's going to face a real challenge to get some. Even get some minutes in that side, let alone starting any games, because there's such competition for places. And with Middlesbrough challenging for promotion, being in the top 2 as it stands, there's really high stakes at the moment. This isn't the season for betting in young players or giving people an opportunity. This is a season where we need to be winning games. We need to be seizing the opportunity that we have earned for ourselves in that first half of the campaign. And so that means that for Law McCabe, he is probably going to have to be patient. He is going to have to wait and challenge for his opportunity. But I do think that Kim Hellberg will give him that. Kim Hellberg has been very good at giving players an opportunity during his time at the club so far. Alex Bangura straight back into the side, did very, very well. He's now very much in the mix to be playing left back every single week. Alex Gilbert had been completely out in the cold, and he came in and did incredibly well against Charlton Athletic and Hull City. Since then, he's kind of been in the mix again for a place in central midfield. Mika Hamilton was given an opportunity as well. Lucas Engel, he's coming back from the MLS. He's now back with Middlesbrough in training, and it's expected that he could get an opportunity to impress before too long. So I think Kim Hellberg is someone who likes to give people an opportunity. Of course, this will be his first chance managing and coaching Law McCabe, so there's an opportunity there for McCabe to really make a statement and prove that he is capable of being a big first team player for Middlesbrough. Law McCabe will actually be able to play for Middlesbrough this weekend against Fulham in the FA Cup. Now, because normally the rules state that if a player has already played in the FA Cup, he is cup tied, he won't be able to play again. And he has played in the FA Cup already this term for Plymouth. He played in the first round, a 2-0 defeat against Wycombe Wanderers. He played 35 minutes in that game, but new rules have stated that players are allowed to play for more than one club in the competition. So he will come back, he will be in contention against Fulham. And you do sort of wonder whether this could be the perfect opportunity to give Law McCabe some crucial minutes. I think Middlesbrough will be needing to rest players, in my opinion. I think when you're looking at someone like Hayden Hackney, who's played so much football recently, he could do with a rest. Alan Brown has played a pretty reasonable amount of football as well. Aidan Morris is on his way back from injury. He's played a couple of games in the last week, but maybe his minutes need to be managed a little bit as well. Yes, there are other players who could be in contention as well, but it could be the ideal chance for Middlesbrough to have an opportunity to look at him, for Kim Hellberg to see what he's capable of, and it could be a game that plays to Law McCabe's strengths as well. The match against Fulham, it is going to be a technical game. They're a very good technical team. Middlesbrough will want to get on the ball, as we've done in the Championship, and Law McCabe could be a really big part of being able to do that. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks, going to be an interesting few months for Law McCabe and for Kim Hellberg. It's a massive opportunity for Law McCabe. Yes, things haven't quite worked out with Plymouth. I think everyone was sort of hoping that he would go there and he would be outstanding and he would last the full season and he'd come back with 40, 50 games under his belt and he'd be more than ready to challenge for a place in Middlesbrough's team next summer. But I think given the experience he's got, I think he will have learned a lot from this experience. It hasn't exactly gone perfectly for him, so that could obviously have an opportunity to really reignite his career, to really kind of light something within him to go out there and challenge. You've got to remember that Hayden Hackney, when he went to Scunthorpe, things didn't go swimmingly for him either, and he came back with a real point to prove and did exactly that, and he's now one of the best players in the Championship, arguably the best player in the Championship. So Law McCabe does have a big opportunity under Kim Hellberg to come back, show what he's capable of, and ultimately he's only 19 years of age. He's going to be 20 later on this month, but he's still really young. He has played a decent amount of first team football, and if he can get some game time under Kim Hellberg this month, it could be a really big boost for him. Of course, there's the opportunity as well. Someone like Kante potentially could head out on loan to free up a space for Law McCabe, to give him a bit of more of an opportunity to get some game time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Law McCabe. I really like him as a player. I don't know him. I don't know about his personality and that sort of thing, but technically he's a very, very good player, a real talent. And I would really like to see him get an opportunity with Middlesbrough in the coming weeks and months to really show what he's capable. So that's why I think of Law McCabe, but I want to hear from you. Drop into the comments below. Let me know whether you think that Law McCabe has the future with Middlesbrough in the months and seasons ahead. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit like, please do hit subscribe, and I will catch up with you next time.